Recently, I did a video on the NICS check system where I said that I think that there does need to be a system in place so that felons can't buy guns. I am a firm believer in if you are a felon, you should be punished. And one of those punishments is you can't vote, you can't buy guns. So there does need to be some sort of system in place to enforce that punishment. What good does it do to punish someone if you don't enforce the punishment? So I do believe there needs to be some system in place. It just isn't NICS, because NICS doesn't work well, and it puts the burden on people that are innocent. It makes them have to prove they're not felons. I don't like the way it does that. Now, because of that video, I've gotten 2 questions quite a bit in the last few days, and I wanted to cover those questions here in this video. Now, the first question I have answered before in a video, but I know it'd be too much like work for y'all to actually look that up. And the second question is kind of a new question, so I'm going to cover them both today, the first one quickly, and then cover the second one. Those 2 questions are, do I think once you're a felon for life? And why do I think felons should be out of prison ever to where they could even have a chance to buy a gun if they've committed a felony? Well, to answer that first part of that question, no, I do not think you are a felon for life. I've covered this before. I think once you've served your punishment, you are no longer a felon and you should have your rights restored. In fact, I don't think your rights should be removed for all felonies. Like the right to buy a firearm and protect yourself shouldn't be removed if your felony is something to do with finances or something like that. Something that isn't violent. I only think you should have your right to defend yourself removed if you're a violent felon. If you've shown that you abused that right to defend yourself, then you should have your gun rights removed. In fact, I'm even iffy on some violent felons because I know someone personally who's a violent felon who is only one because after he found out his 14-year-old daughter's gymnastics coach tried to rape her, he beat the crap out of him, beat him half to death. So now he's a violent felon for defending his daughter. I wouldn't consider that man a risk to anyone else except someone that tries to rape his daughter. So I wouldn't even think his gun rights should be removed, period. But when he's in prison, they would be removed because he can't go buy a gun while he's in prison. But I'd be even iffy about whether he should have served any prison time. I think he just served a little bit, but he's still labeled as a felon. I don't think he should be labeled as a felon. And definitely not a violent felon. I think a violent felon has to be someone who harms people without good cause. To me, that was a good cause. Some people just need killing, and that guy that would rape a 14-year-old girl just needed killing. But like I said, I think once someone has served their time, even for a violent felony, their rights should be restored. If they have rehabilitated, and our system is supposed to be built on rehabilitation, not punishment, if they have rehabilitated, their rights should be restored. And it shouldn't even be a process where they have to file for it. It should be automatic. Once you're no longer in prison or on probation, your rights should be automatically restored. And that gets us to probation. Some people say, well, why would a violent felon ever be out? Why would they ever be out where they could buy a gun while they were still being punished? Why do we even have probation? Well, to me, that's a pretty easy answer. I think probation is a very important part of an incremental system towards rehabilitation. You can't tell what someone's going to be like while they're under close supervision in prison or jail, etc. You have to wait till they're actually released and then see how they adjust back to society before you can make the decision that they are no longer a danger. I know all of us out there that are parents know that sometimes our kids can be little angels while we're watching them, but as soon as we turn our back or they go with someone else, they turn into little mental patients. And felons have that same issue. While they're inside those 4 walls, dealing with strict supervision and strict rules, they do just fine. But then when they get back out into society, they have to face stresses that they didn't face in prison. They have to deal with stressful relationships with friends and family, bad influences they used to hang out with, maybe even not being able to find a job and dealing with financial hardships. There's a lot of things they have to face, and they have to be able to show that they can face those without resorting back to their old habits. And probation is the perfect way to do that. It's a way to give them some freedom and still monitor how they react to that freedom without becoming a danger to other people, showing that they have actually rehabilitated. And once they've done their probation, like I said, it should be automatic. Their rights should be restored. They have rehabilitated. That's how the system's supposed to work. That's how it should work. So there you have it. That's my answer to those questions. Yes, I do think violent felons should lose their gun rights. But no, I don't think it should be forever. Once they have rehabilitated, I think their rights should be automatically restored. But I do believe that probation is a very important part of that rehabilitation. You ain't even my real dad.